Demotivatorshow, the internet's most inspirational podcast. Demotivatorshow, the internet's most inspirational podcast. It's the Motivator here. I know you're here to experience another inspirational podcast, and welcome to you. Welcome. Can you help us out? We need to secure 100,000 new subscribers to the channel. Have you subscribed? Have you shared copies of links to this video with your friends, your network, the wider community? Help us to secure 100,000 new subscribers to our YouTube channel. Africa's future technologies and inventions, from Ibrahim Traore's Burkina Faso to Cyril Ramaphosa, South Africa. I'm going to turn to the wonderful African woman we have before us. Good morning. Good morning. How
Good
are
morning.
you, Emily? How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting us.
Oh, it's a pleasure to see you again. And this gentleman on my right-hand side. Good morning to you, sir. How are you there, Graham? How are you? Oh, no, you're muted. You are muted now. You are muted. Oh, say again.
Right, can you hear me?
We can now. Yes, there you
Can you
are.
hear me?
We can. Yes. Wonderful. Slight delay, but it is well. First of all, thank both of you for joining us this morning, okay? This is the Motivator Show. This is where we translate our words into action. And where success is ours for the taking. And you are our success. And it will become apparent to our audience momentarily. So, before I begin, I'm going to ask you both to introduce yourself. So I'm going to go with the ladies first. Emily, I know you, but I want the audience to get to know you. I just want you to say, just give your name, the organization, but I'm also going to ask you, can you share with us a person or persons who've inspired you and made you the woman you are today? Just so we can get to know you. Just give your name, organization, and just share with us a person or persons who've inspired you to make you the woman you are today. Go ahead, after you.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Emily Mendy. I'm the founder of Busybody CIC. So, it's a local organization in South Africa, actually. Support young people and families to embed STEM, science, technology, STEAM, engineering, art, and math in their lives. So, I started this project by simply teaching French through art in my community, and then I had the honor to meet this gentleman that is part of this podcast, so Graham, to actually believe in me and access opportunities that I didn't know that I could access. And also, so Graham is part of that pool of people that believed in me. And trust me, I'm not an easy person to work with. First, I'm a woman, so I'm always right.
Oh.
So the first person really that believed that really inspired me is my mother. So we always have that figure, and also my dad, of course. But one thing that my mom said to me when I arrived in the UK, I said, I think it's very difficult, so I'm going to actually maybe come back. She said, wow, do you think it's easy for everyone to migrate? If I would have said this a couple of years ago, you don't know where your situation would have been. And then another person that passed away that actually showed me the way that I was actually in the right path is Sir Ken Robinson. He'd, he wrote, I mean, he's got a video called How School Kills Creativity. So I'm not saying schools kill creativity or anything, but when you listen of the story that he's sharing in there, actually, no matter what your abilities are, you actually have a skill in you that just need to be digged out.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. Beautifully articulated. Beautifully. Thank you. I'm inspired already. And, and it's interesting. Your mother, your father, And the gentleman we have with us, it's not often a guest who is able to point to the other guest as being a source of inspiration. Hey, Graham. Hey, she's kind of said it for you now. I'm going to ask you, Graham, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. Just say the name, the organization, and indeed, the person or persons who's inspired you to make you the man you are today before us. Graham, over to you.
Well, my name is Graham. I'm a digital strategist consultant by
Mhm.
profession. Uh, Convoluted, but sort of encapsulates most of what I do. I basically am what you call a purveyor of skills, and I look at sort of working with organizations, in this case, busybodies, to
Mhm.
see how well we can sort of develop important aspects of of traditional, new,
Yes.
and emerging technologies.
Yes.
Um, it's broad based in terms of what I do. I have my own specializations, but
Mhm.
just like, for instance, working with Emily and others, I work with a broad range of experts, in various other fields where we draw upon each other's expertise,
Mhm.
collaborative teamwork, all
Yes.
all that good stuff is all in the mix.
Right.
My inspiration, primarily the
Yes.
first inspiration I would say is the single grandparent I met, which was my paternal grandfather.
Okay.
He was a
Uh-huh.
tailor,
Uh-huh.
and his approach to life was very simple. He didn't have a lot of. Basically, everybody knew who he was, right?
Yes.
He was very keen to share his expertise.
Mm-hmm.
He, he met obviously in his life. He met a lot of challenge in terms of, you know. But one good thing that he said was that, if you have a talent and you have a skill, you need to show it.
Yes.
If you're good at something, that is good. He was a typical African, Nigerian, Yoruba man, and
Mm-hmm.
I've forgotten the proverb now. It's terrible. I'm gonna have to remember that proverb. But he said something to the effect that
Yes.
if you see somebody on the road or nearby that is doing something that you can assist with, that you can
Mm.
help with, that you can
Yes.
make a difference, going to help them uh, progress, then yes, that would be, you need to step in and you need to do. And, using
Mm-hmm.
his example and sort of how he lived his life, that's basically one of the ways I sort of go about doing what I do. That's why I'm very
Mm-hmm.
happy to sort of, work within the community framework and other areas. In terms of
Okay.
professionally, Ken Robinson was also, I'll stick with Ken Robinson on this because what he said and sort of following through his career, and looking at the organizations that have sort of followed on with what his principle. I think he pretty much put the nail on the head with regards to engagement with out beyond formal education. There's a
Mm-hmm.
big need for people to sort of not necessarily formalize but engage in community based education. And I think
Mm-hmm.
organizations such as Busybody, all of those up and down the country and internationally need to be given that platform to be able to do things like
Thank you, and a beautiful segue to my first real question. And thank you for that. It's both of you are truly inspired individuals. Okay, and it is very notable how you have identified other persons. That energy is flowing into you, and you're now giving out it to others. It's a cascading event, as it were. I'm thinking that some quantum terms you have some special description for it, but it's way over my head. But I understand the principles, though. And thank you, Graham, because yes, I agree with you 100%. And Emily here is an example of that. The golden nuggets in our community, isn't she? Absolutely, the golden nuggets.
Mm.
And this has implications not only for the immediate community, but for the world eventually. And we'll get onto that momentarily. But I want to just stay local for the moment. Okay, I want to just keep it real. But having met Emily on a few occasions now, I'm always marked by the passion I say again, the compassion, the humility of the woman. I'm always struck by that, you know. Oh, my dear. And I meet many people, let me show you. Yeah, let me tell you. I tell you, yeah. And I can give you some descriptions. But I recognize, and indeed my audience recognize, that even setting up an organization in response to our compassion is in itself challenging. Okay. But Emily, if I just come to you first of all, what are the principal reasons for setting up busy bees? Just give us the principles rather than the experience, as it were. Give us the base principles. You've alluded to at least one or two of them already, but let's give us maybe 3 or 4 of your base principles for setting up busy bees.
So it was a mixture, and you're
Okay.
right. Compassion, empathy, I think were really took really over for me to take that decision. It came
Yes.
organically. So
Yes.
one of the first reasons to set up busybodies,
Yes.
um,
Busybody indeed. Those busy bees.
we get that all the time. We get that all the time.
Yeah.
It's very common to have a lot of companies called busy bees. Trust me.
Yes. Yes.
Was actually my son. So I moved into
Ooh.
an area where actually what nothing. So I came from two different wards, actually two different wards where I live, where actually everything was walking distance activities for young children from toddler age to young adults, shops, different things, train, etc., schools. And then I moved into an area where actually it was very similar to a village, very beautiful, very unique, but actually kind of do not disturb, but also getting ready for regeneration, a massive regeneration, which I
Okay.
went through. And
Yes.
regeneration first is you don't know what you're going to lose and what you're going to gain.
Yes.
So, and it became also a time where a lot of people from different communities around the world, cultural background, actually moved in the area, which was quite new in the area. So when I
Yes.
looked at it, I didn't know who were my neighbors, didn't
Indeed.
know
Yes.
where I would be able walking distance to do something with my children. Then with the skill that I understood that in England will actually push you to share your skills. And my skill was actually French. So I decided to actually start teaching French to children because a couple of children we meet families were coming to my place to actually learn children. So parents were, okay, go and play with this child and you can learn French. Then I wanted to make it a bit bigger. So I'd started to attend community meetings to understand actually how to understand the rules in England, we'll say, or in London. Integration is very important because you don't know how to move forward. And the different processes and apply for funding. Then that's where I started to actually accompany to teach French through art. And the reason was, well, number one, to have something to do for my son educational. Number two was actually for all the other children to actually access creative activities locally. And number three was to actually offer equal access to local children and families and also to help develop the economy locally. Then also becoming a common asset and platform for the local community. So it was really
Okay.
linked
Yes.
around neighborhood communities, etc. But when you have a
Yes.
passion, you don't realize that you will face challenges very quickly, especially economic and
Can
etc.
I just ask
But
you
yeah,
there? Can I just ask you there, and just because you use the term access to creative activities. Okay.
yes,
What do you mean by that? Because it's I think in terms of technology, is that creative? Just clarify for us.
yes, yes. So you need to also understand that when I set this up, I had to do a research. It took me 6 months to choose which kind of legal structure and why would I choose it. And at the time, my ward was actually what I had actually one of the highest score in poverty, lack of creative activities, um, and so on and so on. So in order to be creative, we're
Forgive
not
me for interrupting there. Forgive me. You use the term ward. I think I know what you mean by ward. What do you mean by the word ward?
so a borough is divided in segment, and then we
Okay.
call them ward, and
Right.
they are located, for example, in our borough, such as the north, south, east, etc., and they
Yes.
all have a
Yes.
name. So
Yes.
inside of,
Okay.
I can't remember, you might help me how many wards we have, but
hmm
okay, I live in London in the borough of Sadak, and then from living in Sadak, then you live in
I understand you
a
now. Right.
specific
Okay.
area. So
Yes.
that's what I'm.
Okay.
And then one ward, based on the communities living there, might be more powerful than another. And when I say
Yes.
powerful, it can be people getting together, it can be
Yes.
economically, it can be. So
Yes.
that's where the challenge is. So some of them will have more needs than other.
Yes.
So this one
Okay.
was actually was actually kind of like this, stable and unstable, because they were getting ready for a regeneration, people leaving and people joining. So that was
Yes.
the
Right.
current situation.
Okay. Um, uh, so you've identified these issues. Are you identifying them in conjunction with other parents, or is it that you're seeing children sort of meandering and not really knowing what to do with them? Just so I'm clear, but what are you responding to? You can see the changes, but you're not. So were you speaking to other parents about this, and therefore I set up this organisation in order to respond and support the community, or is it you're listening to children and their feelings of uncertainty about the changing environment, the uncertain future?
So if we're talking about when I first started,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was first seeing my personal observation,
Okay.
then my children going to school, then talking to the head teacher, who introduced me
Aha.
to the engagement officer of the local authorities.
hmm
And then I joined, there is an initiative called the Big Local, and
Aha.
then you
Right.
find them all around the UK. I was their first entrepreneur, and actually they helped
Oh,
me and guided me and actually
okay.
introduced me. So this is how now I've managed to develop this understanding, how actually in my borough things were working.
hmm
And then I then was free to create, to start networking, to actually develop busybodies. Then actually a couple of years after, Graham came on board, and now the opportunity came to set up STEM initiatives in my community. And now,
Right.
in order to move forward to make them bigger in the borough, in the city, nationally, but also internationally.
Oh, hold on, Emily. Hold on a moment. Hold on there. Oh. You see, people like you and I make it sound easy. Okay. But I know the audience. I know the audience. And there's Graham smiling now. So I'm just slow down just a little bit because I understand that part of the story. But tell us, and I really have to ask this question: what challenges did you face setting up Busy Bodies? Okay, what were the challenges? And just give us a flavour of what you've had to overcome. She
So
smiles.
we might need tissues and extra time, but okay, you have, there is a thing that you need to understand is
Yes.
when you decide to be an entrepreneur and you
hmm
have the ideas because you have a passion, it's actually
Yes.
wrong. You need to observe and understand actually what the community needs, and they need to be heard, especially when you do something to actually design a community or a space. And when I say community, I'm talking about globally. It's not only just where you are or etc. So we're talking
Hold
about.
on there, hold on there. Again, you say these nuggets as a matter of fact. Okay. You remember, we're going to take our audience with us. So I just want you to repeat what you said. You design it in response to the community's need. Let's clarify what you mean by that, just so we're clear.
Okay.
You design.
First
Yeah, go
and
ahead. Yeah.
foremost was to have something for the children to do, something to do for the children.
Right.
Back
Okay.
then, when I started, it was only, I think it was Bowlers Academy, and they were doing football from the age of 12. I think London Bubble, Time and Talent, and maybe the Scout or Girl Guided, and I think that's it. If I'm right, maybe I forgot something, but forgive me if I.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
So when you think about it, beautiful area and not much interaction for the neighborhood.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Um,
So that's a clear challenge, isn't it? A clear
yeah,
challenge you needed to overcome. Okay. Go ahead. Forgive me for
yeah.
interrupting. Go ahead. Yeah.
My actually first challenge is I'm better now, but strong language barrier. I wasn't speaking English at the time.
Oh, really?
You know?
Ah.
So I literally had to sit down. People, it's funny when you actually want to be part of something and people would say, I've never said this before, but people will talk and say things and I wouldn't understand and they will laugh and I will I will laugh just to make sure I'm
Oh.
part of it. But it
Yeah.
was hard, but
Hmm.
sometimes you have to do things to make sure you are in it. And I remember
Yes.
one of the counselors saying to me, all right, what can I do for you? I said, don't need anything. What? I said, no, I need to understand what's going on first. So challenges were trying to focus, but I also needed to train myself. So in terms of citizenship and understand how actually and locally how things works, also
Hmm.
educationally, because I actually at the same time went to study to make sure
Hmm.
that I've got the right degree to do what I'm doing. I had to learn to do to design projects suitable for young people, understand that you had to do training, talk to an insurance, have an accountant, to one, becoming an entrepreneur, two, to put a project in place. And that
Yes.
project now, you now need to educate the community. But when I say the
Yes.
community, we've got funders, local authorities, families, children. That is something that's going to be very important for
Yes.
them in the future. How do you actually educate people that are impatient? And when I say impatient, it's because the our world driven by technology
Yes.
allows all of us to be impatient
Yes.
to
It does.
actually learn
Yes.
something for tomorrow.
Yes.
So I had to learn it myself, and Graham will tell you that was very hard to teach me. but then, but then,
Yes.
how do you actually implement this in the community? How do you apply for funding? Because you can't sell something that people don't know what it is about. So
Indeed.
you
Hmm.
have to actually do step by step. I became one of the service provider and actually one of the first organization that was actually doing activities for young people during the Bermondsey Carnival,
First of all,
um, Bermondsey Festival, and
festival.
then
Yes. Mhm.
Bermondsey Festival, yes. And then through the years, they actually grew the children's area,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
every year
Mhm.
I've been called and even asked to lead on. That was just before COVID, then back again to actually design and help with the children's zone. So
Mhm.
with the time, I've actually managed to, and thanks to families, because growing actually, I'm not sure if I'm still answering your question, but I'm
You
just going
are.
to go
It's
into.
fine. It is fine.
Okay,
It is
okay.
well. It is well.
No, see, I've then managed to actually create a platform to talk with mums. So when I say platform, is locally, I was getting on well with mums, and
Mhm.
then they would spread the word of mouth. They would talk to me about challenges that they facing, and then the children as well. So it's a lot of dialogue and communication, really about
Right.
caring and how we can actually make it move forward, which we have
Mhm.
actually created a most
Absolutely.
of it is the language of care for young people, how
Yes.
to support families and children to move forward in STEM. And then it was to implement STEM in heart of communities, designed for the community, by the community.
Can
So,
I just ask you to pause just there? So I don't want to give too much away just yet, but you've
okay,
you've perfectly no, it's beautiful, and I like that last comment. Graham, you agree with this? The language of care. As you said, it's so matter of factly, eh, you could be a high priest now, high priestess. The language of care, the caring, compassion for your fellow human beings, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their religious affiliation, whether it be big or tall, black or white, doesn't matter. The language of care. That's why I do these podcasts.
She's got an MBA in it, you know. She's got an
Ooh,
MBA. That was a thesis for yeah, for that was a dissertation and thesis. Yeah.
oh,
So yeah. So
oh.
I'm guessing she's going to take it to doctorate level. So let's wait. Let's wait and see.
Yes, you are right. She will take the doctorate level. So I'm a father, you see. Sorry, forgive me. Absolutely. I love that. The language of care. We might, if I had time, I want to explore that even further because there's some fundamental principles embedded in that statement, which we might have time later on to flesh out a bit more. But what I want to do, though, because you've so beautifully segued into my questions and make my life so much easier. What you're describing, of course, is that journey. You've described some of the challenges. You mentioned that, first of all, you wanted to create facilities for children. Yep. You needed to personally overcome the language barrier, which I'm fascinated by. So your original language is what? Is it French? Is it French?
So first is from Senegal, and then second is French.
French. Got you. Wow. So and therefore, in order to make a difference here, you had to master the language as well as all the other responsibilities. My gosh, yeah. Okay. So therefore, you then went on to talk about and described you need to train yourself, self-training. You described self-training. You have to therefore alter your mindset and to be receptive enough to train. That plasticity of our brains. As we get older, it becomes more difficult, but yet I know how old you are, so I know that. Gosh, that's in itself a remarkable feat. Yeah, you describe personal discipline, your own personal discipline, in order to do so. Because I understand the challenges. Don't worry, I get it. Creating a platform for mothers, I see that as being so critical. Absolutely right. Beautifully articulated as to why it's important to support mothers. And of course, you rounded off by using that wonderful term, the language of care. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Graham, you inspired her. She's inspiring us, isn't she? Graham, isn't she? She's inspiring us, isn't she? Oh, my gosh. Oh,
Definitely.
oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, gosh. Okay. Now we've got to this point where you've
She's an
pointed out,
inspiration. She's pretty
of
much,
course.
yeah, she's pretty much been my link to the community before
Mm-hmm.
linking up with Emily and two other particular, but Emily in particular. I didn't really
Mm-hmm.
have a the sense of notion with regard to community engagement. I was more
Okay.
involved with formal education,
Mm-hmm.
approaching the corporate side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly I didn't see the power and the value of the community. But after working with Emily, and also the situation that happened during the crisis in 2020, it
Yes.
gave me a
Yes.
whole new paradigm and perspective on community engagement. So, really appreciate that from her
Mm-hmm.
perspective. And like I said, she's also been a beacon and an example for a lot of people who are also within the sector. I mean, they look at her
Mm-hmm.
example and they actually
Mm-hmm.
take heart from that, yep, this is the right way to sort of take things forward. So, it's been
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
her language of
Thank you.
care and commitment to community, the community approach to engaging in what she's doing has really been an eye opener.
Yes, it's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be really childish. And forgive me, Emily. I'm a bit like that. I'm going to do this. Yes, yes. Oh yeah. In fact, where is it? Where's the digital one? I can't find a digital one now for me. I'm just so excited. The idea. I'm going to keep using this term. Oh yeah. Hey, you hear it now. The language of care. The language of care. Yeah. Come on now. Let's do this. Oh, come on. More of it. More of it. The language of care. Come on. Whoa. Oh, yeah, that's what I want to do. Oh, yeah.
This isn't something. This isn't something that I just came up with. What I've realized is,
Mm-hmm.
with the team, we've had central to our conversations were
Mm-hmm.
individual conversation based on each child's development,
Yes.
and parents would also take the time to talk to me. So the challenge wasn't maybe equipment or material or anything, because we've
Mm-hmm.
actually got the skills to actually, okay, we don't
Yes.
have this today, we didn't actually realize that we needed to plan for this, let's do it this way. It's critical thinking, it's creativity. So when we say we are creative, it's not about being an artist, it's more being, okay, how a problem solver. Even
Yes.
though
Yes.
we don't say problem, it's challenges, right, Graham?
Yes.
So, and there is a day where I was particularly upset. So what you need to understand is setting up a concept that is quite unique. And then at that time I think it was only Barclays Eagle Lab. You have couple of sorry.
It's okay. We love children. We love children. Don't worry. You let them do their thing. Don't worry. It's healthy. Very healthy. Very healthy.
So the challenge was actually that I was competing in a world of business where I'm a woman,
Yeah.
a world that skills where they're mainly overtaken by men, technology,
Yes. Yes.
and then working with families that actually were not really aware and wouldn't see the necessity now. So, for example, your
Yeah.
biggest challenge, your biggest competitor at the time, especially when the children are little, you want them not to hurt themselves when they go swimming, to be carried by water, or maybe just football because you want them to take fresh air and learn different skills, etc., etc. So, how do you come in the heart of it and actually promote it? So when you have
Yes.
children and families that believe in you, you actually easily just focus on
Yep.
them. It's not about
Yep.
quantity, it's
No.
about quality.
Quality.
And that's how the
Yes.
language of care came out, because they would come and tell
Yes.
us challenges regarding what they're facing at school. But then coming to us, the children are completely fine. And that was kind of
Yes.
the freedom of expression, giving them school tools, as they were actually free using the tools. Once, for example, Graham and other people would actually teach them how to use them. And teaching is a big word because we're not teachers. So the language of care has been designed by the groups, people that we worked with, and actually had something to say. And we used that to actually realize that
Okay. Can
we
I?
do care.
And that's for
Can
sure.
I
That's for
compliment?
sure.
Sorry,
Of course you can. Of
can I
course you can.
compliment
Yes.
what you just said?
Of
Can I
course.
compliment what
Yes.
you just said?
Of
Some of
course.
the you asked the question earlier about what kind of activities she did, the busybodies actually does. Well, I've got a list here. STEAM storytelling workshops, maker craft sessions,
Wow.
green tech projects.
Wow.
You know the box on the outside that we've got there. The basis of 3D design and printing, interactive coding sessions, creative robotics, art meets tech workshops where we basically involve art, family innovation days. There were sessions where they had family innovation days, STEAM
Wow.
competitions. Definitely had STEAM competitions, digital music production, traditional music production is one of the things. Stop motion animation using claymation and 3D scanning.
Wow.
VR world creation. I don't know whether I think you might have seen that once or twice when you
No, I
popped around
haven't.
where we were.
Hold on, Graham.
Wearable tech design.
Hold on, Graham. There's quite a few terms you're using there, and I want to make sure we take the audience with us. So you said
Oh, right.
VR automation. Did you say? Last one?
VR world creation.
What is
VR
that?
world creation.
What is that?
Well,
Look, I'm a
basically,
parent, you see, so
well,
it's that. Yeah.
basically, a VR world is basically where the children create their own objects. They design their own objects and they place them within the virtual environment, and they're able to walk around and do all kinds of interesting things, within that specific environment. So they use
Wow.
software
Okay.
like the Unity Games Engine, the Unreal Games Engine, Godot, depending on the preference. We use Unity. And then the children, whatever they design, gets placed within that virtual environment. So
Wow.
that's what the VR world is all about. And all that technology is freely available for anybody who's interested in learning how to use it.
Hmm. Well, I'm almost lost for words there. I'm almost lost for words. And this is an example of a few examples of outcomes and actual achievement of the busybody led by yourself. You've actually delivered these opportunities to young people. Yes? Say yes or no.
Yes,
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
yes.
yeah, it's okay. And the reason for asking the question, that seems like an awful lot of work.
It is. And a lot of health and
Do what
safety.
you love, and you never work a day in your life.
Say that again.
You have
Come
to
on,
make
say
your
that again. No, say it again. Say that again. Slower. But I believe in it, but say it slower.
do what you love, right? And you'll never work a day in your life. I think it was Steve Jobs or George Lucas. I can't remember who it is. You'll have to look it up. But yeah,
It was actually
that
George
stuck with
Lucas, yes.
George
100%.
Lucas.
That's my principle as well. I love what I do. It's not work, it's pleasure. There you are. You understand it. Wow. Wow. Did I stop you midstream? 'Cause even though you went through a lot there, I sense that
Oh,
there's even
there's a
more to
lot more,
come.
but you gotta get the drift. Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
fine. To move things along, you gotta get.
Okay.
I've got it
Wow.
in a document. I can post it up. I can post it in the chat if you want. I can
Yeah,
post the
put it in the
document in the chat.
chat. Put it in the chat because I think we very helpful, very helpful. Because what you're alluding to, of course, is the outcome, the busybody outcome over the past 10 years. Is that right, Emily? That's right. 10 years you've been in existence, Emily.
Yes. Yes,
Wow.
yes.
2014.
24.
2014,
No,
yes. Well,
11
it
now, isn't it?
starting 2013 for the research, etc. Company set up in 2014, and then a couple of months from now will be 11 years. We've
Okay.
celebrated 10 years.
Can I just last question before I go over to Graham proper? Can I ask you maybe just for the benefit of the audience here to allude to your future ambitions for busybodies? Yeah, what's your future ambition? You may want to set up maybe 2 or 3 of them for the next year or 2. Just give us some idea of the future ambition. What do you want to achieve? There we go.
So let's talk from now. What we have at the moment is we established with a local charity, and we have a tech hub with equipment such as 3D printer, laser cutter, laptops. We get donations as well. That is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of material regarding coding, electronics, and then skilled people to work with us. We now have access to a garden that will be managed. We currently design a robotic arm with Teddy London to actually design a concept similar to the farm bot for children to understand planting with electronics and robotics. Not completely
Okay,
yet.
Emily, you said that so quickly. I think I heard you. But I want you to say it a little slower. You said you now have a
Okay,
garden with an electronic arm and arm gardening now. And you mentioned Teddy
okay.
London. What's Teddy
So,
London?
okay, so
Yes.
so we've through the years, with
Mhm.
what we have now, we've worked with quite a lot of collaborators and partners. The number
Yes.
one is Fab Foundation UK. They've now kind of offered their equipment to us for the purpose of the community to actually access outside and extracurricular education in STEM.
Right. So these are enrichment classes for all intents and purposes. These are. Yeah, go ahead.
It's a platform. We're not
Mhm.
focusing on just after school activities.
Okay. Yes.
We've got STEM holiday camps. We've got pop-up workshops. We provide
Hmm.
services.
Hmm.
We are in libraries every now and
Hmm.
then, festivals,
Wow.
um, etc., etc. Black History Month, for
Yes.
example, is one of the
Yes.
only events we celebrate because we showcase similarities, bring people together, and then science and craft is heavily part of it, for example.
I understand.
Um,
And you mentioned the garden. I didn't want to go back to the garden. I wasn't quite
yeah,
understood.
so
You said you have a
so
garden and you've got an
so
arm of some kind.
so
Yes.
through the years, we've
Mhm.
built. So what we're trying to do was to build assets for the company, which is for the community. And at
Yes.
the moment, we've got an agreement with a local charity, the Dockland Settlement, to actually use their garden
Okay.
for education. So it's becoming a sensory garden for vulnerable people. One
Right.
aspect of it would be to actually teach planting. I think there are enough places for growing and etc. But showing the process isn't
Hmm.
everywhere, which is what the schools are the children are challenging and facing in schools. There's
Green tech.
so many
Yeah.
challenges that they struggle to actually show processes. So the idea
Right.
is for us to actually show processes. You have to do it and do it and do it again in order to
Right.
succeed and exceed in it. So
Okay.
with couple of students from Teddy London, the University of Engineering in
Ah, right. That's what it
Canada,
means. Right. Okay. Yeah.
we've we've actually offered the time to support their students to actually, I think it was one of the exams that they had to do, to put
Right.
in place one of an idea that we've had, and also for them to work with the young people coming to our session. And they've managed to create two things for us. One is, first, they've built a robotic arm because we were really interested to develop. We are really interested to develop science projects such as, Graham, please help me, the with the fish and etc. That's
The
similar to what
fish.
Hydroponics.
hydroponics, etc.
Okay.
One project that I was very, very eager to do for the young people to understand is, them to develop coding skills, but to put them in practice directly. And for
Hmm.
this was the farm bot kind of system, and would be to use robotics with a robotic arm, using an
Right.
app to actually understand the process of planting and not growing food. So,
So, forgive me, are you using the robotic
Maintaining the
arm?
process.
Sorry, say again.
Maintaining the process, understanding the process, and maintaining maintaining
yeah,
the resources using technology.
Right.
Basically, just to sort of encapsulate, it's about green technology. It's about
Right.
exposing them to the many aspects of green technology. Because, for instance, within the garden, eventually, if I might talk about the technical side of things, we're
Hmm.
looking to also introduce things like IoT, the Internet of Things, where they'll be using things like
Okay.
weather stations. So
Okay.
you set up a weather station, weather vane. There'll be, renewable technologies such as solar technology included.
Okay.
There will be what we call ecosystem setup. Like for instance, the hydroponics garden,
Okay.
the aquaponics, things like that. So all these things will be, potentially explored within the green tech arena, as well as other external technologies. So
Right.
the thing is to that's what the gardening side of things is technically all about.
I understand you now.
and
And
then
these are
the
local facilities. Well, anyway, go ahead,
they
Emily.
are
Sorry.
local facilities, and the reason why we're mentioning this because it's part of the future of busybodies. So we already have equipment, and we know they are experts in the fields in doing actually what we're doing. But what
Hmm.
we don't have in general is places. We're trying to actually build places that will be common places for people to learn and actually
Yes.
develop
Yes.
and work together. So the
Right.
idea would be, in an ideal future, to be located all around the world, online, physical places designed that will actually be based for the community. It's it's really similar to what's happening in Asia or in Africa. Actually,
Uh-huh.
people learn on they have skills.
Yes.
Maybe the health
Yes.
and safety that might be different, or maybe
Yes.
it's power that might not be
Yes.
accessible. It's actually
Yes.
how you put things together in order for people to make use of it in order to move forward, really. So
Brilliant.
in an ideal world would be for us to actually have contracts all around the world. But if we start with the UK, it would be for this to be accepted by local authorities in general to support
Hmm.
children's education, especially key stage 1 and 2, because
Right.
and the special children with special needs, just because if the schools don't have the capacity, unfortunately, due to budget cuts, as we all know,
Yes.
linking up with groups like us will help them to actually support children's education, families' creativities working together, and preparing children in the future, especially that is a world dominated by tech. So they won't have
Absolutely.
the choice.
Absolutely.
A
This to do
bright
Absolutely.
future
it.
too.
It's a very bright
Exactly.
future. Yes, and I
We
get
we
that.
work with we work with children under the age of 10 doing art with AI. And for
Hmm.
this, what you need to be able to have vocabulary in order to add in this. I think it's part of prompt, Graham, if I'm right.
Yes. Yes.
Graham,
Yes, yeah,
right?
prompt engineering, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So for this, it's reading, it's
Hmm.
English. How do we move
Hmm.
forward? And I said
Hmm.
earlier that I
Yeah,
had
it
language back.
motivates them. It's a motivator. Yeah, to get them to learn keywords, let them to type, get them, engaging with the technology in the right way. You'd be
Yes.
surprised how
Yes.
many times we've had a session where kids have come for one session and then they've come for 3-4 sessions in, and you notice that their typing is a lot more improved because they're able to actually get something out there. Oh, have you seen that prompt? Oh, have you seen that picture? Oh, but that's not the point. The point is their typing skills has improved. Yeah,
That's right.
you know,
Yes.
I'll add it. Yeah, yeah. So that's obviously one way of using technology.
Hmm.
That's what I keep saying about community. The community element doesn't focus on the box ticking that happens within the school environment. Don't get me wrong,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
teachers, I have the greatest respect for teachers in terms of what they do. But one of the approaches with the community is that things are a lot more easily segued to be able to do
Yes.
certain things. And
Yes.
that, for instance,
Yes.
is one of the examples.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that, and that's very helpful. It does sort of set out the sort of the future. What you're fundamentally saying is that you want to encourage local authorities to establish similar organisations in their localities, and you want to network with those facilities so that there can be cross fertilization, a sharing of resources, and you can gain economies of scale as well. Yeah. So that's the strategic thinking that delivers at the local level.
Facilities, yes.
Yes, it's the facilities that are
Facilities,
critical. Yes, thank you for
yes.
that, Emily. You've really set out an interesting scene. And if we could replicate this across Britain, across Africa and the Caribbean, wouldn't that be tremendous? Wouldn't that be tremendous? And contained in your presentation, of course, is the use of quite a number of uh, acronyms. And I want to first of all, just to help the audience to better understand some of these acronyms. Okay, one acronym, maybe Graham, if I go to you now, one acronym that is repeatedly being used, of course, is STEM and STEAM. Now, I know what a stem of a plant is, and I also know what a steam engine looks like. But you use it in IT. Oh, for heaven's sake. What does that mean? STEM and STEAM. Graham, just explain that to us, first of all.
Well, effectively, they're both the
Yes.
same thing.
Oh, okay.
But the only difference is one has an extra letter, which I'll explain. The STEM is simply science, technology, engineering, and maths,
All
all
right. Okay.
combined together as an acronym. Off the top of my head, I don't know when it was done, but it basically simply encompasses everything to do with those areas and subjects, in terms of what's available. Basically, they just lump them under one roof to say, okay,
Okay.
if we're talking about developing skills in this, we have to sort of look at it holistically. So science, technology,
Hmm.
engineering,
Hmm.
and maths need to be lumped together. But then further
Right.
along, and I think Ken Robinson was also instrumental in ensuring that happened, was that they added an A, which stands for arts.
Okay. Why?
So
Why add
science,
art?
technology, engineering.
Why add art?
Well, Emily can.
Oh, please,
Well,
tell
Emily,
us
did you
why
like to
at
take that
art? You
up?
see, I've got a slightly older sister to me she graduated in art in central London, and we always argued. We argued about. Forgive me, this sounds a bit ageist now. There's an incident that occurred maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago at I think it was the Tate Gallery or National Gallery, where they purchased a pile of bricks and said that was art. So we argued vehemently. I argued against that, which was a part of bricks. She argued that it was art. Now, so that I think of art in those terms, it can be very abstract or very, in some ways, subjective. Art to you appears to be a part of bricks. So why would you add art to a technology which is very rational, very logical? It has fundamentals to it, whereas art is abstract and has no fundamentals. Tell me, why add art?
And I'm going to be honest, I'm not really sure, but
Or
I
is it
think
so calm? There you are.
things have evolved. And then if you look at it in
Yes.
an economic side of it,
Okay.
a silly thing. I mean, if someone wants to apply for a visa to come to the country to do art, it's part of the economy. On our side, I know
Okay.
that we use art in order to help the children to be creative and solve problems. So the first thing first
Ah.
that we give to
Okay.
children to work with us is a pen and paper. They need to draw a draft. So there are different ways of seeing it. So it makes sense that art, which is also very therapeutic, So if you have a challenge with children
Okay.
or families or self, when sometimes everyone has to be a bit quiet. So I
Yes.
think there are different ways of all seeing it. I don't actually know what's the real reason. What I know is with the time, when you look at it, STEAM is actually everywhere. Cooking is actually part of science.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Football is part of math. You need to actually
Yes.
calculate your direction in order to kick and score. So you
Right.
actually need to have the overall and big picture, but then scale it down, tailors to the needs of the community. And in the community, art is used quite a lot in order to bring people together in cultures and everywhere. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't
I
know.
understand now. No,
Like I
you've
said, everyone.
described it very well.
Right, so that's the community. Let me give you the technical side of things. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
One thing that art does is that it emphasizes creativity and innovation.
Mm-hmm.
It fosters creativity. Art encourages out of the box thinking. A lot of
Okay.
people, a lot of engineers and scientists. And another example would be, for instance, the NASA program. When the engineers were designing the space capsule and simple things like and then the guy said, okay, well, how am I going to sit in that seat? How does that seat work with me sitting in it? I need some visuals first of how the seat. You can't just design a seat off the mark. You have to give me some visuals first to sort of see how the seat works. Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It also drives innovation. A lot of groundbreaking technology, such as apps. Apps designs. You have to spec them out. Yeah, virtual
Okay.
reality. A lot of this stuff needs to be visually appealing. It's like the shirt you're wearing, sir. I mean, why did you buy that shirt? I mean, it was technology put together. It's a piece of
Yes.
technology, isn't it? But the thing is,
Yes.
the appeal of you buying that shirt is based on its artistic, and that also reflects the design. You know what I mean? Also, with
Yes.
young children, what is the first thing they they do that they're really good at in terms of being able to segue into other things?
Draw.
They can draw on a
Drawing.
piece of paper, like what Emily said.
Right. Yes.
They can write stuff. The very first thing we get the kids to do whenever they attend any of our sessions is that we get pen and paper out and get them to draw something,
Right.
make them comfortable, get them
Yes.
working with something that they've been working, and then you segue into whatever else you want to do. So
Right.
art
I
is an
see.
integral part across the board with regards to being an artist originally myself. I studied graphic design, so I
Uh-huh. I
understand
see.
where you're coming from. And that argument that you had with your sister, I've had with loads of other people across the board. So this argument has been well prepared and been well in place.
Can I just say?
Yes, of course,
Can I
Beverly.
just
Yes.
say, the
Yes.
minute you give a pen and paper to someone, is actually you will see their behavior. We see it with the children, and
Yes.
you will get some children say, "No, I don't want to do it." It's very interesting because once they go on the computer and we give them tasks, and they realize themselves that actually they get stuck, they need a visual to actually move forward. They come back and sit and actually do it. And the challenge is with some families, so well organized, they don't want pen and paper at home. Some families, very creative, they don't have pen and paper at home. So
Indeed.
our place
Yes.
is a place where you learn. You need to understand and value the material and the people who are there for you. Because what we do is quite unique. Nobody does it,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a sense that we make it accessible, and
Yes.
it's in a broad way, it's accessible. So when you think about these things, when people talk about digital inclusion, to us it's easy to say those two words and say, oh, we want to do digital inclusion. We also do digital inclusion. Graham
Uh-huh.
mentioned it earlier. In order for you to understand and master the tools, you need to be able to use step by step and organic equipment that we give you. Turning on a laptop and turning off a laptop. Children don't do this. They close the laptop, that's it. You need to teach them
Yes.
organically and gradually how to actually, lucky they are to have access to this, but to also give them access to it. And bearing in mind that we're working with children with different abilities.
Yes.
Autism
Yes. Yes.
is becoming higher and higher, and we have parents, unfortunately, who don't access opportunities for their children. They come to us, and actually it works. It works
Yes.
very well, even
Yes.
with high autism. Sometimes it's only that we need to be able to work with them in a different way. So my team is just amazing because they are the one working with them. I
Mm-hmm.
only
Mm-hmm.
communicate with the parents, we have to be
Yeah.
honest. So
Yes, I hear
Uh,
you. I hear you. And much of what you described so far is really aimed at parents and guardians, so that they are
yes.
understanding the importance of these types of facilities that you've established. And I want to give a big shout out to all the mothers and fathers, the guardians, the grandmothers and grandfathers, the uncles and aunties who support children. As we know, the proverb is, it takes a village to grow a child. Yeah. Absolutely. And this message is for you to take advantage of the facilities such as this, as Busybodies has created. Yeah. It is really, really important. If I may, just to move us along a bit in terms of my questions for you, and maybe Graham, um, is the future of Africa and the Caribbean technological? Or is it that they should really
Indubitably,
focus on? Oh,
as you
okay.
said, I think you might fairly indubitably, yes, it is. The
Explain why.
just
Yeah,
as the
explain why.
internet,
Hmm.
just as the internet has
Hmm.
made the whole world a global village,
Okay.
technology, the path and the route to uh, progress for anybody, for instance, under 40,
Yeah.
is to basically embrace technology. And
Okay.
in order to do that, I think it's important that um, people and all stakeholders, both public and private sector, step up and basically take it seriously in terms of it moving forward. I think that's the key thing. It's very bright.
Hmm.
There's no two ways about it.
Okay. If you were,
So, is there anything specific? I mean, the
uh,
specifics of it is simply the fact that uh, you know, the key industries such as healthcare,
okay.
agriculture, finance, are being upgraded. They're changing. The job specs are changing. So it's important, for instance, that even if currently right now there will be a status quo in terms of the job market and how things are positioned for
Mhm.
children or the next generation, or is it Gen Alpha now? They need to start thinking
Yes.
about gaining skills within technology. They need to start creating
Yes.
opportunities and avenues for these kids to be able to access these technologies.
Yes.
So there is a big, bright future. It's just that people need to start taking it seriously and doing what's
Okay.
needed doing.
What I've got to ask you just now, if you were, for example, let me use this example. The country that I've recently found out has been a true inspiration, and his new president, the young man, Ibrahim Traore, President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, who most certainly is a forward-thinking president. Okay. If you were the president of a nation, let's say Burkina Faso, you could choose it your own country, doesn't matter. Okay. How would you, or what recommendations would you give to those within the country, and indeed to the wider African Caribbean countries, to implement STEM or STEAM curriculum successfully? What would be your recommendation for them to implement it correctly? What would be your recommendation? I know it's a big
Right. Okay.
question,
So
but they are
there.
listening. I'm assuring
Yeah,
you they
it's a
are
big question,
listening.
and I was well prepared for it. So
Okay. Okay.
there are 9 steps. There are 9 steps that I think I've sort of hit upon. The first one is
Okay.
a community-driven effort directly for schools, not
Aha.
necessarily for higher education, but for schools in general. Okay, I'll come back to that. Number 2 is
Hmm.
establishing local maker spaces and innovation hubs. That's very important.
Like
Number 3, developing.
busybodies. Like yes. Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, like busybodies. Yes,
Uh-huh.
yeah, like busybodies, like Peckham levels, places like that. The hubs where things can. Um,
Yep.
sorry, one sec. Let me quickly. Sorry, let me go back to what I was doing. So where was I? Number 3. Yeah.
Yes. Three. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. No, so number 3. Okay. Developing business ecosystems. A lot of issues surrounding the development and delivery of this because the left doesn't know what the right is doing, the up doesn't know what the down is doing. So if you develop an ecosystem, I've got a laser cutter, I've got a 3D printer, I've got this. All right, let's collaborate together. Okay, I need overcapacity for what I mean. That's it. So developing an ecosystem. Number 4, renewable enemies, renewable energy, not enemy, renewable energy solutions for local areas. You know, get solar tech, renewables, wind farm, all these things are part of STEAM and STEM, are part of STEAM in the sense that getting people to understand how technology works, this could be part of the process in terms of what these locations. Number 5, upskilling locals in STEAM and Industry 4.0 and 5.0 technologies.
Oh,
Now,
what does that mean?
industry,
What does that mean? What does that
right,
mean?
right, industry 4.0, right, industry, right, upskills is skills, and that's the skills in general. But the thing is, local manufacturing using new technologies, right? With the advent of Industry 4.0, which I will encourage people to sort of look up, and if I'll try and dig out some links to that, and Industry 5.0, is that there's been an evolution of technology from the 1700s all the way up to where we are right now. Currently, we're in Industry 5.0, but like I said, we're not going
I
to over.
see.
Now, in order to be able to enhance those technologies or get access to those technologies, people need to create the environment to be able to. So that allows people, for instance, to create smart factories. Whereby
Right.
we know the cost of producing anything costs astronomically or whatever it is. But the point is, with smart factories, obviously the initial cost, like solar technology, will be very expensive, but the manufacture can be very, very, very cheap using smart
Yes.
technologies. You can have a room full of technology where it's only robots manufacturing or processing whatever it is. And the fact that most of these processes are modular can repurpose it to do different things. Like, for instance, one of the ideas that they had in mind was, for instance, somebody who works with wire, who works manufacturing wire. They could
Right.
repurpose whatever they're doing to create hangers, and then they can repurpose that to create springs. So the things with this, and the thing is, if these factories are set up within, and we're not just talking about manufacturing, we're talking about in agriculture, Industry 4.0 technology can manage a lot of things, even across the world to build it. So if they start thinking about engaging with these technologies, and Industry 5.0 simply adds on AI, which is going to make
Okay.
things a lot more easy.
Can
Number
I can,
6,
can I just before you move away from that term AI, another acronym, and bearing in mind there will
right.
still be significant numbers of my audience who still don't understand that terminology. Don't lose where you are, but just clarify what you mean by AI.
Right. AI is simply artificial intelligence. That's the simple meaning of
Now
artificial
that sounds
intelligence.
frightening to
AI
me
has
at
been
first
around.
glance.
Right. No. AI
Okay.
has been around since forever. I think in 1980s. AI, as we know it today, has been around since the 1980s, and I think it was a Canadian professor, who basically started the process of where we are at the particular moment. Don't quote me, but yeah, I know he's Canadian, and I think it was in the 80s. Where we are today is now that we've got, for instance, yes, we had computers who basically are able to run what we call programs. Yes, I'm not going to use the technical term because you're probably going to answer
Thank
that.
you.
They're able
It's
to run
fine.
programs. But now we've got not computers. The AI today is not a computer. What AI today now is like a brain. It's a
Okay.
neural net. It's a brain. Right. So it's a thinking system. It's a thinking model. That's the technical term. It's a thinking model. So which can be trained and which is continuously trained. And I'm guessing the perfect example of that today, if people haven't heard of, is ChatGPT.
Yep. Okay. I've subscribed.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm guessing
indeed.
everybody here, we all use ChatGPT. Yes. So
Yes.
ChatGPT it's a thinking system. It's a thinking model. It's not a computer. It's like a neural net. It's a brain, which is different from a computer. A computer is just a dumb, it's just there. You input a program, it will run. It sometimes simulates what you want, but that's all based off of human programming. What
Right.
AI can do, AI can learn and give its own inference in terms of what is based on information, and it is continuously learning, continuously updating. That's what AI is today. And a lot of
Okay.
AI technology is slowly in certain industries, it's very, very rapid. Like, for instance, in the area of insurance, in the insurance
Oh, we lost him.
sector, in the
Okay.
actuary sector,
Your internet's becoming a little unstable at the
it's
moment.
taken over. by
I'm not sure.
storm. A lot of the processes are now being taken over by in banking. A lot of the processes.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, we lost him for a moment. Oh, okay. We lost him for a moment. Okay. So that was interesting. His response to the AI question.
I think to
That
summarize is really early
Mhm.
exposure to STEM resources, computer, spaces, internet education program, teacher trainings,
Okay.
teacher
Eh,
training to educator, and community support, like the ecosystem.
okay, he's back. He's
Sorry, it
back.
must have been all the hand waving. Yeah, it must have been all the
Maybe.
gesturing.
Oh, or the AI
AI gesturing.
objecting.
Yeah,
Okay.
the algorithm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you've given us a really useful summary of what AI means, because it's a term being heard regularly by my audience, and I know more than 2/3 don't understand what it means. Okay. And therefore they
I hope
shut
it helps.
down. Yeah, they simply shut down and that's where but actually they are using AI without realizing it as part of their daily living, because increasingly it's been integrated into our lives. Okay, so just the
If you
mobile
use
phone
Google,
I've here uses it.
like if you use Google anytime since 2023, you're
Yes,
using AI.
yes, that's it. Well said, well said. I'm going to now just keep moving you forward, because you're on your
Right.
fifth
Oh, number six.
recommendation.
Right. Number
You said
six. Yeah.
upskilling and
Yeah.
upskilling. What's your next?
Upskilling upskilling locals
Yes.
in STEAM and Industry 4.0 and 5.0
Yep.
technologies.
Got that.
Number
Yes.
six. Number six. Harnessing diaspora expertise and networks. That's very important.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Harnessing the diaspora
Say
expertise
more
and
about
networks.
that. Say
You
more
can't
about
do it
that,
alone.
please. Yep. Uh-huh.
Right. Okay. Remember, a lot of these young people today, with all the skills that we build them up with here in the diaspora, are going to have a better level of connectivity with their roots,
Mm-hmm.
especially due to AI and technology. So it is important that at this particular point in time, that organizations and governments start creating awareness between, in terms of culturally, in terms of artistically, getting
Mm-hmm.
young people involved in their roots and culture,
Yes.
so that when they get old enough or they get old enough, there's a call out, collaborations can be set up, because like I said, the world is getting, like with the internet now, you can,
Yes.
I speak to people all over the world,
Yes.
Christmas, New Year was an example. We just, in the New Year, there's lots of people that I've spoken to, Vanuatu on the other side of the world. I spoke to somebody there, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so same thing with technology. Also, expertise and skills. They might not have the local expertise there and then, but the point is, within the network internationally, they might have somebody that they can call up on WhatsApp, or they can call up on on Skype, on Zoom, or whatever it is, to sort
Mm-hmm.
of help with clarifying a situation, or expertise. The remote learning. All these things could be in place either for now or for the future. Also,
Mm-hmm.
people might at some stage, hopefully, want to set up local establishments or
That's
businesses,
right.
manufacture, whatever, especially 4.0, 5.0. You could be anywhere in the world with that technology.
Yes.
So long as you have power and sustainable utilities and resources to this. So
Yes.
all those things could be relatively like and he also mobilizes people. Also, there's more funding and money available in the West, in the diaspora, than say in their local. So you could have things like
Yes.
scholarships. You could have things like people donate equipment. You could establish
Mm-hmm.
grants and all those kind of things. Those are things that
Mm-hmm.
we see. Connect with local innovators, with international investors, organizations. Organize diaspora-led hackathons to solve real-world challenges in health, agriculture, and education. These are some of the things that sort of analyze
Mm-hmm.
them. Or is there something you want to add, Emily, to that? Is that something you
No,
would
no,
like
no.
to?
You perfectly done
Okay.
it. I don't know.
Okay, good.
Um,
Good.
Number seven,
Yes.
promoting a culture of innovation and collaboration. It's probably the same as the first one, but
Mm-hmm.
just to sort of expand upon that is encouraging community challenges to solve local issues. One of the things that I think was predominant when I used to live in Africa, because obviously I have lived out there. That's why my grandfather was so. Is that a lot of people? The first thing that used to come to their mind when something needed to get resolved is, oh, government, 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 government. It was never about what can we do.
Do yeah.
Yeah. So simple things like waste management, that bit needs to be cleared. I used to laugh. Initially, I used to laugh at my dad when he used to get out, wake up, angry as hell, go out and then try and clear it, and the people there will be laughing. I'll be laughing. You're the fool. Look, we benefit clearing our bit here, but the point is, if they don't clear their bit, they're the something. I mean, so things like that. I don't want to get off topic about the issue, but the point is,
it's okay.
I think because we have to take the mindset that we have here there
Yes.
in terms of
Yes.
how work ethic needs to be improved. So culture,
Yes.
innovation, and collaboration is the only way that can be done. Number 8,
Yes.
advocacy and awareness campaigns. Host forums and that, like what you've done here, sir. This is a lot more of this needs to be done with them on board. Host forums, dialogues to raise awareness about STEAM and potential, its potential. Because, like you said, education is the key. People don't understand something, there's nothing you can do. They'll just shut down.
That's
So
right.
you need to basically break down the knowledge so folks can understand. Share role model success stories. There's lots of people out there slugging away doing technology. I've got a friend who's into furnitures. He does furniture, and he's been fighting like crazy there to sort of get his business going. But the point is, he's a success model in the sense that he's still doing it. He comes here, he goes there. Use social media, important. Organize tech fairs to showcase innovation in different technologies. Give people a chance to platform. Small scale, big scale. Government invest in that. Number 9. Last but not least, leverage AI as a leveling tool. Right. AI. Before the advent of AI, I was really worried about the development of children's education in this stage. I was really worried. How are they going to be able to keep up with the relevant, professions and technologies and skills? And I was like, wow, I wish we could be like they are in Star Trek, where everything is so advanced. The kids are learning work, learning, and they're looking about technology and stuff like that. I was like, how is that possible? As soon as AI got launched in 2022, I realized, oh, Star Trek's here, because I'm a big Star Trek fan. I was like, wow. So I don't need to learn the nitty-gritty about whatever's going on. I can simply just apply AI to do the heavy lifting while I apply critical thinking to what I'm doing.
Creative thinking.
One of the yeah, you're able to apply exactly, because that's what's going to happen now, especially with education. It's like in the formal sector, they're trying to work out how to implement AI because it's out of the box now. Kids are using AI.
That's right.
So they're having to segue now and change the dynamic of what you get the kids to, you test the kids on. So there's a lot of information available now. It's now to analyze it with critical thinking. It's now to apply it to create a solution. Wow. For anybody looking online now, it's very easy to come up with a solution. Also, learning has become a lot easier. I'll give you an example. You mentioned earlier that it was very, very, I concur with you that it's very hard, especially the older you get, to keep the knowledge in here. It goes on here. However, with the advent of AI, it's become a lot easier. Also, writing reports or writing any documentation or thinking or analyzing anything, right? It's a lot easier now with AI, because that's another thing I was worried about. How am I going to keep up with Emily and others when they, do stuff? Yeah. So AI makes a big difference as far as that is concerned. I can tell you how many programming Udemy courses I've bought that I've just been sitting there. I've not touched because I haven't had the time to follow. So I've gone through it once. I'm like, I've forgotten it. Now with AI, I can get AI to do the heavy lifting, to write the code for me. And all I just do is just review what's there. So
agreed.
That's so just to sort of recap the 9. I just sort of read them out. That's okay. Community-driven efforts for schools, number 1.
Yes.
Establishing local maker spaces and innovation hubs.
Yes.
Developing business ecosystems.
Yes.
Renewable energy solutions for local areas. Upskilling locals.
Oh, we lost him.
Technology, we can't prevent it.
And he's the IT man, you see.
Yeah, no, it's just to show you that you can't prevent. Technology still needs the man.
Absolutely.
The human.
Oh, here he comes. Here we go. I'll put him back in again very quickly. I like this. Oh, he's here.
Sorry, I don't know what's happened there. Okay, I was
Technology.
number 5. Was that number 5?
Yeah, number 5. Yes.
Okay, number Number 6, harnessing diaspora expertise and networks.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, promoting a culture of innovation and collaboration. Yeah.
Yes.
Number 8, advocacy
Advocacy.
and awareness. And then number 9, leveraging AI.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. I know there are quite a number of our audience who are in a position to implement your recommendations, and I know they may wish to reach out to you. Okay, so I'm
I'll post
assuming
it.
that.
I'll post it in the chat. I'll post it in the
Thank you,
chat.
thank you, thank you. If
Can
you
I
would,
add something?
of course.
I think with everything that Graham said, and trust me, we could share so many things because so many
Mm,
things happened in 10 years in terms of who we've worked with, what we found out, skills, places, people. There is a lot. But what I would like the parents to actually take away today is education is for
yeah,
everybody, but it's beyond school education, it's
yes,
beyond even self interest. It's really, I would even say it's safeguard. I think
mm,
AI actually was a hit to education,
mm-hmm,
especially universities,
yes,
people are scared, thinking that technology will take over. I
mm,
still think that technology needs the human to manage it. This is
mm-hmm,
what I think.
yes,
But
yes,
in order to be part of this, this is where you play your part. You actually need to be aware and in advance, actually, of whatever will happen in the future. It touches everything, and Grant mentioned it: healthcare, businesses, education, even social, even
yes, it
social.
does. Yes.
Even so, without dating apps today, some people would not meet. You have meetings online. Every is touching everything.
Mm-hmm,
So I think really what parents needs to understand is, even though it takes a village to raise a child, we need also to have the tools. The tools are
yes,
there. Nowadays, everything, that a lot of things are accessible and for free. The software that Graham uses to actually
Yeah,
work and advise groups like me, they're actually free.
free.
Nowadays, you can
Yes.
get so there are things, and there are so many groups that are willing to support families by giving equipment. The council can help as well with accessing internet. So there
mm-hmm,
are ways of actually putting yourself in a mindset as well to say, okay, I'm going to actually have a side where I'm going to learn, train myself. And we're talking here only about parents to understand the
yes,
way to actually guide their children,
yes.
because
Thank you.
no one and nobody will do it for them. Everybody's going through rough times at the moment around the world, and the best way is to actually keep up with. And I'm not saying to they should love technology or they should love art or they should love science, but at least to understand.
Okay.
At least it's very important.
I think that's very well said, because it's if there's a lesson I've learned in this business is that where you have attentive, involved parents, okay, you tend to have children who are inquisitive and are almost natural achievers, because the parents are activating that what is natural innate human ability to be inquisitive, to learn, and indeed to resolve problems, to find solutions to issues. And what you're identifying is that parents can be that catalyst for change, genuine catalyst for change. And I think that's so well said. So thank you for that. That's really well said. And we're now drawing into a close. First of all, I'm going to invite Graham. What will be your closing message to my broad UK and international audience who are understanding that the technological revolution, they're living through it now, but what would be your key message to them as to how they can be a part of that and ensure their children, their grandchildren, those who they're responsible for are equally a part of that technological change, technological revolution that we're experiencing?
I've been waiting for this, and I say this all the time, and I'm guessing
Okay.
probably it's heard. AI and technologies are not going to replace anybody.
Mm.
Okay.
That's a
Right.
guarantee. It's not going to replace anybody. Do you know what will replace people who do not adopt AI or technology? Any guesses?
Uh, Tell us.
Very simple. Someone else who does.
Ah,
Whoever
okay.
does
Yes.
embrace those is the person who will replace the person who doesn't. want to use AI, who doesn't want to use technology. They're going to be the people who are going to get the jobs. They're going to be the people that are going to be in those jobs, maintaining whatever system needs to be. They're going to be the folks employed in key sectors or whatever's going on with regards to either utilizing the technology or implementing the technology. And just like with the mobile phone, you can live without a mobile phone, but the point is, if somebody's going to work with other people, they'd rather prefer with somebody who had a mobile phone, rather than a flip phone or stuff like that. So it's people will either get, it's you're either going to get kicking and screaming, dragged into using technology, of which a few of us have had to have endure. Like for instance, I only started using a smartphone in 2016. Before that, I was like, nah, my flip's
Oh
fine because it
yes.
lasts as long as ever.
Oh yes.
And then my
Yeah.
friend said, he
I
said, oh
was
look,
really.
take this one, just for this is one I've just used this, and I used it for a month, and I was like, no, I need to get mine. I'm sold. You understand? So, but then that brings me to one of the points I brought, in the sense that so long as you create awareness, you can bring people along gradually to, relate and support technology, or to
Can you
adopt it,
imagine?
And
He's
I
telling
can't
yeah,
people
imagine.
to use technology and he's not using technology. And now I can't tell you WhatsApp groups and pictures, and he doesn't stop.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
yes.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you. That's just truly amazing. A technologist who was reluctant to use a mobile phone. Wow.
Oh, yeah, but but the kicker there is this. Even
Yes.
now, I only use technology that applies to what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no point having technology just for the sake of technology. It has to be functional. Like on my phone, I don't have multiple apps. I only have the apps I need or use.
Okay.
So there's no
Yes.
clutter on my phone except for the pictures and the stuff that Emily, stuff like that. But apps and stuff are to the bare minimum because of the functionality of the device. Certain things I prefer to use the computer. So it's about using technology in a smart way,
Yes.
and
Okay.
in a smart context. I mean, there's certain things, for instance, that's why awareness and understanding is important. So people come, they see an example of how best to use a specific technology. They say, oh, okay. So they take it away, because I've seen situations where people have had technology and it's not been implemented properly, and they say, oh, it's bad, it's this, it's that. And
Yes.
that's not only in the community sector, it's also in, the formal education sector too. So
Yes. Yes.
that's just a point of
I
reference to
completely
note.
understand, and thank you
And
for
and
that.
people.
It's really good summary as to why it is important and to leverage the technology for our personal improvement. I can only testify the use of AI has augmented my ability to learn. So I learn at a much faster rate, and I'm terrible. I learn better in my case between the hours of 11 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning. I could memorize a whole entire Bible during that period, and either audio input or indeed touch, I'm able to learn anything. I have no idea. I have no idea why I've got it that habit. It's simply a habit, but that's my learning style. That's my learning style. That's why I always admire a good teachers who adapt their classroom setting to the learning style of the student, the children before them. That's a good teacher. There you go. Thank you. But thank you, Graham. That's really beautifully said. Beautifully said. I'm now going to
Can
go
I
to
just
Emily.
one thing? Oh,
Of
sorry. I
course.
just wanted to add one thing, just to add to what Graham said.
Mhm,
We've talked about STEAM, we've talked about AI, we've talked about many things, but I also would like for parents and whoever is listening, that
mhm.
attached to this, there is also an aspect of data and
Okay.
cybersecurity. Technology is also, there is also a lot of risk as well associated to it. And
Okay.
that's why, to go back to what Graham said, it's really important to use technology in a smart way.
Mhm.
And using AI, for example, requires also a lot of patience, because it's not to just dump something in the chat and actually just expect straight away an answer that's going to solve your problem. No,
Mhm.
that's, to be
Mhm.
honest, being lazy. You literally
Yes.
need to take the time to feed actually the AI, and then after, then organically design what you need. So
Yes.
even if
Quite
we know
right.
that it's been used with AI, you had to input the necessary information, and also kind of information that you input in there.
Trust but verify.
Yep,
Sorry?
trust but verify.
Trust,
I was going to say, yeah,
trust but verify. Yes, trust
yeah,
but verify. But then that
Exactly.
comes back to the fact that when you talk about people, that's why we're going to need people. We're going to need established sources of information. It's like, for instance, not everything that the AI or ChatGPT, the model will be trained on, will be
right.
correct. So you need to
That's
go
right.
and verify. This is
Mhm.
where traditional education and knowledge, having teachers, having mentors, having people who've had lived experience,
Mhm.
comes into play. So
Yes.
all that ties in. It's the reason why, for instance, you see a university student's paper because, for instance, they haven't had lived experience, they haven't
Mm.
had the knowledge to sort of go research. They basically lived off of that. It's important, but all this comes down to the awareness and the use and
Yeah.
implementation and the structures you put in place to support it. That's where
Thank you. Thank
organizations
you.
like busybodies and your good self in terms of this platform also comes
Mhm.
into play.
Thank you, Graham. I'm now just go over to Emily. We've got maybe another few more minutes left. Over
Oh,
to you.
sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. This is stimulating, and let me show you, really stimulating. Your closing words. What would your message be to the audience, to both parents, guardians, and others, and those policymakers who will be listening to this podcast?
Oh, wow. It went a bit different than what I
It's
expected.
okay.
So I think I would say access was one of my driven words in order to carry on with what I've been doing.
Yes.
A funder listen to an organization like myself and give access and opportunity for
Mhm.
an organization like myself to actually
Mhm.
empower the world, I would say. Experts, please carry on working with organizations like me because we need you. And when I say we, I'm talking about communities to empower young people and families.
Mhm.
Organizations like me, be flexible. You never know who you meet.
There you go. Keep
Oh,
talking.
okay,
Keep talking.
sorry. You
Just
never
other
know who.
details I put on the
Okay,
screen. How they
who
can
you meet.
contact you. Keep talking.
Yeah. Um, so we might have to change the telephone number.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Oh well.
organizations. No, we do have it, but it's now for something else.
Okay.
Organizations, be flexible. Train your team and give
Okay.
them opportunities and listen to them to also be more creative and flexible in what they're doing.
Mhm.
And then everyone just showcase your talents and let
Okay.
the platform of technology be part let technology be part of our platform in communities. This is what I would say.
Absolutely. Can I ask you, please? I'll put that on the screen again. Just give out the email address. The email address I'm quoting correct. Is making sure that's right. info@busybodies.co.uk.
Yes, it's correct. Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Beautiful. And your website address, of course, is busybodies.co.uk.
Yes, yes.
Good. There you are.
So
Good, good,
when I
good.
say the number has changed, it's only simply because we have a WhatsApp, because we realized that WhatsApp is easier.
Aha.
I can share the
If you could put that in the chat, and I will in when I then upload the edited version of this podcast, I'll include your contact details and also the WhatsApp number as well. There you are. Okay. That's fine.
um,
That's fine. Can I say to you both, this has been truly an inspirational podcast. Okay, I'm receiving feedback from the audience and those who are not techie. They're not techie, okay, but they have children who are, as it were, as techie aspirants, as it were, and it's knowing how to adjust to what is this increasingly changing world. And I describe it as being the technological revolution. And what you provided is at least some comfort to them that they are giving support to their sons and daughters, their nieces and nephews. But I'm sure they want to reach out to you for that additional support and support you in these endeavors. Okay. And together we will make the difference. And I know that there are countries across Africa and the Caribbean who are now grappling with this issue of how to adjust their national curriculum so it better responds to the jobs of the future, notwithstanding Graham's suggestion that jobs will not, the jobs, not taking away jobs, jobs will change. That's for sure. There's change in the wind, and change is always uncertain for most people. Okay, but that's why organisations like yourself exist, to provide that support, both for parents and their children, so that they can better adapt to the ever-changing environment. I want to thank you both for being truly inspirational guests. I suspect we may have to do this again soon, because I've just had feedback from some people in Jamaica, and another one in Ghana as well, Nigeria, all wanting me to give greater profile to what's happening in those three countries. In the intro videos, which you may not have seen, I identify particular inventions from those countries. I suspect that's what they're responding to. They'd like us to give greater highlight to the technological revolution that is occurring in those countries, so that we don't assume that they're backward, but actually they are adjusting, and there is technological innovation underway. It's just simply we don't give enough publicity to it. That's what it is. So we're using this platform, we'll give publicity, we'll get you back, we can talk about some of these inventions and their sociological implications, and indeed how we can grow the available workforce to take advantage of the technological revolution that we're experiencing. Thank you
I think
both.
also,
Of course. No, go ahead.
just wanted to say to highlight that we're not saying this isn't happening in Africa and in the Caribbean, but we're also pushing the fact that we would like here to say it more in our communities as well, especially with children with special needs.
Yes.
Parents might have priority, but also governments also have priorities. And in order to be part of this path of the society, you have to be part of it and be on top of it. And this is where we want to help to make sure that families have access so we can both help in a sense that we both meet the priorities. So please send my regards to.
I certainly shall. I'm going to give you a clap. Oh, I'm going to give you a clap now. Here we go. Here we are. We've got it now. More of this. I know I'm control this. I know. I will enjoy it because, oh my gosh, please, more of this. We need more of this. More of this.
To follow up what you just said. Shout out to those countries.
Okay, all right.
Shout out to those countries that are really taking the. Sorry, shout out to those countries that are really taking the lead. Rwanda, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, we've got Egypt. We got Uganda, we got Kenya, we got Zimbabwe. Those are just some of the countries that are really, really taking the lead in terms of, really setting up the framework. The African Union has also set up a framework, which hopefully, and I know a few people, for instance, who are working over in Ethiopia, Eritrea, doing really, really good things out there. But like I said, it has to be a government, private sector, education institutes, and communities initiative that sort of needs to take things to the next level.
Thank you both. Until the next time. Oh, sorry, Emily.
I was going to say, do we have time to actually share one of our videos so people can have an image on what we've been talking about?
I learned that we should fight for something that we feel like we are good in, and that we should reach our dreams.
I've never really done anything like this before. I've done like design technology in school, but not like this.
We're here today at Greenwich and we're going to walk the passenger tunnel and we're going to take some photos in the tunnel and the surrounding area.
From sketching, from designing, to making, this is my robot lamp.
No matter what your gender is, your ethnicity, your background, you should just feel like you're equal. Do what you want to do, don't do what society tells you to do, because you're not going to feel happy in the world if you do what society tells you to do. And remember just to love yourself.
How to achieve Africa's future technologies and inventions from Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Chad, Niger, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Jamaica, Tanzania, Democratic Republic of Congo, Namibia, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Uganda, Zimbabwe, and Trinidad, amongst others. How to achieve Africa's future technologies and inventions. Technology is crucial in the 21st century due to its profound impact on virtually every aspect of modern life. Here are some key reasons why technology is important today. Technology enables instant communication across the globe through emails, video conferencing, and social media platforms. Advanced tools like artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning accelerate scientific discoveries and product development. Smart home systems, online shopping, and digital entertainment have transformed how people live and work. Emerging technologies like blockchain, AI, and renewable energy create new industries and job opportunities. Automation and data analytics improve productivities and reduces costs in various sectors. E-learning platforms, digital libraries, virtual classrooms make education more accessible and inclusive. The internet democratizes access to knowledge, empowering individuals to make informed decisions. Green technologies such as solar panels and electric vehicles support environmentally friendly practices. Assistive technologies help individuals with disabilities lead more independent lives. Technologies like satellite imaging and predictive analytics aid in disaster preparedness and response. Advancement in technology are enabling humanity to explore and potentially colonize other planets. The technology sector is estimated to be worth more than $50 trillion by 2030. How to achieve Africa's future technologies and inventions. Burkina Faso. BurkinaSat 1 project. The country has embarked on constructing its first Earth observation nano-satellite, BurkinaSat 1, led by Professor Frédéric Otto of Norbert Zongo University in Burkina Faso. This satellite aims to enhance remote sensing capabilities for disaster prevention, agricultural monitoring, and research. The project signifies a commitment to advancing technological innovation and self-reliance in space technology. How to achieve Africa's future technologies and inventions. Nigeria. Iroko TV, founded by Jason Nyoko. Iroko TV is a popular Nigerian video on demand platform that offers Nollywood films to a global audience. It has been pivotal in boosting the international visibility of Nigerian cinema. How to achieve Africa's future technologies and inventions. Ghana. The Cardiopad. Created by Dr. Arthur Zhang, the Cardiopad is a portable touchscreen-enabled medical device for remote heart disease diagnosis. It enables healthcare workers to send electrocardiogram (EKGs) from rural areas to doctors for analysis, improving healthcare delivery in remote areas. How to achieve Africa's future technologies and inventions. Jamaica. Professor Charles Grant and the University of West Indies Monash team Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, Jamaican engineers and scientists at the University of the West Indies, led by Professor Grant, developed a low-cost ventilator to assist in respiratory care for patients. Busybody CIC. Emily Mendes is a UK-based project management expert and entrepreneur. She's passionate about culture, new technologies, and what both these things can bring to people's lives. One of her aims is to always ensure Busybodies engages young, bright minds with innovative activities, with options and opportunities to attend exciting, groundbreaking events. As a CIC that works with children aged between 6 and 16 and young adults who would otherwise have minimal access to digital technology and creative learning outside their school education, the organisation aims to facilitate social inclusion in a multicultural society through visual arts and digital texts. Emily sees exciting times ahead where science, technology, engineering, art and math education and 3D tech innovation means you can choose to be who you want to be and gain a bright new future. Busybody CIC, Emily Mendy, founder and chief executive. African proverb: it takes a village to raise a child. Now listen to our children speaking their truth.
From sketching, from designing to making, this is my robot lamp.
No matter what your gender is, your ethnicity, your background, you should just feel like you're equal. Do what you want to do, don't do what society tells you to do, because you're not gonna feel happy in the world if you do what society tells you to do. And remember just to love yourself.
Busybody CIC to contact Emily Mendy, founder, CEO. Email info@busybodies.co.uk or in the UK call 07445 237 296. International is +44, removing the first 0. If you are a guardian, a parent, a teacher, an educator, reach out to Emily Mendy. If you are a potential student between 6 and 16, reach out to Emily Mendy. Together, we can make the difference. Demotivatorshow. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10.